Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
If you're watching this right now, yes, you can tell he is, I guess, somewhat of a gardener. He is a gardener. He's a grower, and he's helping people, many people, with CBD based on what he grows. And we're talking about hydroponic CBD, and he is Jake, and he's back.
Right.
How you doing, buddy?
Thanks for having me again, Steve. I love having been on the show. As you can see, the plants are really coming in. Very nice. You can see that the green is just that right shade of green to take in all the photosynthesis. You don't see any yellowing or discoloration coming down the nodes. You can see that this plant has just had perfect nutrients, the complete point, all of its life. You can see a little bit. I'm going to show you a little bit here. You see this? On the very, very bottom, you see a little bit of yellowing?
Yes.
It's actually a little bit of a nitrogen. It's lacking nitrogen. So it might be lacking a little bit of nitrogen, but you'll start to see that on the very bottom of the leaves. And that's a sure first sign tell that you need to put in a little bit more nutrients or nitrogen is what it's really lacking right there. But that's really not that bad. And as you can see, all the other leaves are very, very luscious looking. But always kind of know that the bottom leaves are always going to be the first sign of any type of trouble, because that's where it's always going to start.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Jake Jeske, the Purple Nugget, and then you can find him at thepnug.com. As you can tell, and I'm learning here from you, Jake, it is a science to properly grow CBD, and there's so many companies out there selling CBD. And if you haven't heard, it helps with so many different things: health issues, emotional issues, stress, and on and on. But what are you buying when you buy CBD? You should be buying the real deal right over there. And those plants, now I remember seeing those plants, I don't know, I want to say like 3 weeks ago. How many weeks old are they?
These are about 3.5 weeks since we planted the seeds, actually. These are actually even from the seeds. They're feminized seeds. And we can show a little bit of sexing here. It's going to be kind of hard.
We have to block that out. I don't know if we need to block that out. No, I'm kidding.
We'll blur this out. That's funny. You're funny, Steve. But you can kind of tell from the beginning of the nodes, you'll start seeing seeds, or you'll see like these little pistils grow out, like these little white pistils that come out. And that's a sure sign of a female. If it's a male, it's going to have like these bunch of little fingers like this coming out. It's going to be like little seeds that are about to sprout out.
Yeah, it's definitely a female, because if you do her wrong, you don't do the right thing, the pistol, she'll shoot you down. That's how you remember that.
Exactly. That's
making that up.
Right.
I can't believe how much they've grown. And it's almost like we're talking about our child. Three and a half weeks. I mean, we started, it was like that. I mean, that's crazy. Wow. Yeah. And then for full maturity, to be a CBD plant or plant that you can use for CBD, then we're talking, we're looking to get like 6 feet, 7 feet, somewhere in that territory.
6 feet is usually like how it comes out. Once you start cloning from like the same female plant, you're really going to start noticing that a lot of the plants, they have the same height, they have all the same genetics from like the female flower. And give me 1 second, I'm just going to click off my AC. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. I wondered what that was, but yeah. And as you can tell, climate controlled when it comes to growing. And the website, if you want to learn more, it's the PNug, as in Purple Nugget, the PNug.com. So where do you go from this point? Now, let's say we hit 6 feet on those plants. What's next?
Then we're going to be harvesting. Like normally throughout the veg stage, it's going to probably double in size from here. And then when it goes in the flower stage, it's probably going to double in size again, because at that point, in just to back up, veg stage and flower stage, it's going to be the amount of time of light that the plant's receiving. Once you kind of get into the fall seasons, you kind of like we talked about how the apples and everything, the photosynthesis is right to where it's going to start blooming its flower. And so once it kind of hits like 12 hours of light on, 12 hours of light off, that's when it's going to start blooming. Once it does that, it's going to really start stretching out, because it's going to want to have all the room for all those flowers and all those coloruses that we talk about. And so that's when you're going to see actually probably your most extensive growth is during the first 3 weeks or 2 weeks in flower, actually, because it happens so vigorously and so fast.
Interesting. So let's change gears for just a sec and talk about Delta 8, Delta 9. Those are different types of CBD that you can buy.
Yeah.
we hit upon that. I think it was last time we got together. But you found some more information out about Delta 8 and Delta 8 and Delta 9. You don't sell those products, right?
No, Delta 9 is still illegal. That's actually homegrown THC. That's just what they call it in the chemical field, is Delta 9. That's actually just what THC is. And that's completely different from Delta 8. Delta 9 is like what you would find as, like, when I say CBD oil extract on CBD plants, Delta 9 is exactly what you would find if you were to be growing those red apples that we talked about in our earlier episodes. Delta 9 is healthy and it's completely organic. Delta 8 is a small compound that's found in a CBD plant that companies are attaching this synthetically made compound called Delta 8 to. They call it Delta 8 just because they can kind of slide in the back door for legal issues, and they'll start putting it in with the CBD products, trying to enhance it. What they're claiming they're doing is that when you can't grow flower as well as some people can, they try to mimic it by synthetically making CBD compounds, and they try to put that inside the CBD cell and whatnot, and then say it's CBD made.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's kind of a lot of information, but you can look into it. Delta 8, I know Colorado is really a lot of the breaking ground for THC and CBD and everything. Go ahead and look into it. Delta 8 is still illegal in Colorado, Washington, even New York. I think there's 14 states total that have banned Delta 8, actually.
So is it harmful, or it doesn't sound like it is. However, if you want something that's pure, and why are you taking CBD? Because it's natural, then why do you want something synthetic on your CBD, right?
I mean, it's companies that are synthetically making something that are trying to get as close to organic as possible. I mean, to me, if you're trying to take this real thing, you need to be taking, know your grower, know your supplier, and know where it's coming from, like we said before. Is it harmful? What's harmful about it is that it's not regulated. With like FDA regulations, most synthetics need to be regulated like that when you're breaking down the materials like that type of molecule. And most of it's happening with people who are not licensed to do so. So therefore, you're finding absolutely no quality control throughout any of it. So that's a huge problem with it.
So if you go online, you can find a lot of places that are selling Delta 8, and I don't know where they're selling it from, what state, but how are they able to send it to a state that has it as illegal?
I have no idea.
Wow.
I don't know what they're doing. I'm Carl Roberts is our state senator out of Green Bay. I'm in email exchange with him right now because I'm kind of trying to find the answer to this, because I think a lot of those states should probably be mimicking what a lot of the states before us have really founded. And that's all well CBD and THC works without using these synthetic compounds that are hurting people. There's people that become addicted to these Delta 8 compounds by smoking it or digesting it. So there's also that effect of it.
Wow.
CBD, THC has absolutely no physical addictions to it. Some people might be mentally addicted sometimes, or they think they need it. But as far as physical addictions, there's absolutely none when it comes to THC and CBD.
Yeah.
When it's genetically made, that causes a problem, that causes a hole, and it doesn't allow you to like just naturally solve the problem, really.
Well, it's a complete opposite of why I think most people gravitate towards CBD, because it's a natural product. It's going to help you. You don't have to go to the doctor, get a prescription. And it's also, you're not taking a med where maybe you want to wean yourself off of certain meds. And again, check with your doctor, but CBD can help you out with that. But thanks for sharing that, Jay, because I had no idea that the difference between Delta 8 and Delta 9.
Yeah.
In my mind, I think for a lot of other people, you would think that, okay, well, Delta 8 is this, Delta 9 is kind of the same thing, but stronger because it's a higher number. What do we know? But now we know, Delta 9 is still natural, where Delta 8 is not. It can be synthetic.
Exactly. Yeah. I first learned about Delta 8s when I started growing CBD and growing flower. I would have companies come to me saying that you don't even understand. CBD is going to be a drop crop. What you need to do is let us spray Delta 8 on it, and then we're going to put in cartridges, and then you're going to sell it and you're going to put it in all these like little head shops or whatnot. So I made that decision long ago that I was staying completely organic. That's, I mean, they even said to me on a wink wink that, yeah, you're going to fail your inspection, but you know, we'll just go ahead and buy it anyway. And it's like, get the fuck off my property. Like, just go.
Seriously, thanks for your honesty, man. It's just, you know, well, there's somebody trying to make money off of somebody else.
We are doing just fine by doing it all organically. Just talking to Shane this morning. Shane, if you're listening, I'm sorry that I was eating when you called me, but he just went on story saying, you know, I tried other things, and he's got big knee problems. And I explained to him about the absorption points, where don't just put it right, don't put the salve is what he was using. Put the salve right on your knee, but also put it from like the bottom of your ankle all the way up to the back of your knee, because that's where all your vessels and veins are at. So you have a higher absorption, longer absorption points. And he's like, Jake, he's like, man, he's like, that pain in my knee, it wakes me up. My leg wakes me up all the time. He's like, I gotta tell you, he's like, I got it Saturday. He's like, here it is Wednesday. He's like, I got a success story for you. He's like, because I put it on. He's like, in the first night, he's like, and I waking up, and I'm like, shit, you not. He's like, is this working? He's like, is it like, I don't feel any pain. He's like, I had to go to the bathroom. He's like, when I walked from my bed to the bathroom, he's like, it wasn't until I was sitting down that I realized that my knee didn't hurt the whole time. He's like, then I'm just sitting there working at it. And he's like, I didn't feel anything.
So I'm gonna give you, here's my guarantee today. I mentioned to you a while back, I had, you know, a little every once in a while a knee pain. Kind of went away and I was good. And have your salve and, you know, the lotion or cream, whatever, however some people don't know what salve is. So
oh, sure.
And I'm going to put it on as soon as we get off this podcast, because it's kicking back and it's more frequent. And especially like after I get out of the car sometimes or wake up first thing in the morning, it's like, yeah, you know, it's not bad, but I even find myself walking a little funny because I'm afraid to put a lot of pressure on it, because I don't want to mess it up if I'm going to mess it up, but definitely going to try that. And thanks for sharing what you said. And you said it once before as well. When you put on a salve, don't just do it on the trouble spot. You have to go around the area because it's all connected.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like kind of reiterate to say that a lot of people have arthritis pain. That's kind of what they're dealing with, or even elbow pain. I recommend, like, if you have arthritis pain, put it on where it hurts, like on the knuckles, but put it all right here. And then you want to put it all right here, because that's where everything is kind of running. That's going to give you a longer absorption rate.
Yep.
So that's a really good spot.
And you know what, Jake, it makes perfect sense, because I remember going to a chiropractor a couple of years ago and just had some like just uncomfortable back pain. And as he's adjusting me, he's working with my legs. I'm like, what are you doing? No, it's on my back. He's like, no, not really. It's connected to your legs. And he's like, you know, I'm bending sideways and it worked. But because everything is connected. So yeah, you gotta hit a wider area. What is next for you? Like, what's on your radar? You've got capsules, you've got the salve, you know, other products. If you could successfully,
I think 4K.
Say again, to what?
I think 4K. My kid's about 3 years old, so we'll see what's next.
Well, I'm talking products.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
I know you want, you know, that's making things too, but that's making, you know. But in terms of CBD, like, where would you go? Where would you go next?
Our tea is going to be our next. So we had 4 products that we were kind of like putting in, seeing if it was going to be a cash cow or whatever. And we're going to go with the tea. We really got some really nice comments with the tea, very good tasting. We do one with the spearmint, and then we're going to do another one with the honey. So the tea would be the next part to kind of go. And then after that, I'm not quite sure. I know we're doing the dog treats that we said before. We're working with another company right now that is a really good, just organic pet company. And they have just like have been doing things for so long. Tammy Grins is a really wonderful woman that's been working with just a lot of organic companies. And we think we're going to actually start doing business with her a little bit and like put our oils in her dog treats. We're going to stick with the tinctures for some of the animals, because we're kind of working on a more dietary base, like where some animals have to take certain type of foods, maybe they don't want to be taking certain type of treats. And we think we're going to go that route. But by working with Tammy, I think we're going to have a really good partnership, because the treats that she makes are completely organic, and she already has a great baseline of customers that utilize some of her wellness centers. So.
I like that idea of the drops or the tinctures. that for pets, because your pet might not want a certain treat that you buy. Now you've made the investment, or you don't want to deviate from the diet because sometimes that can cause digestive issues. But
Yeah.
a couple of drops on their food, my dog would never even know, not even pick up on it, you know?
They really don't. And it's kind of like a nice way to go about it too, is a transition to where you're not really messing with the dog's diet. And
Right.
you know, if you can make
what?
an easier way.
Awesome point, Jake, because, let's say your dog has an issue, whatever it might be. Now you've changed what they're eating, and then you're trying to observe, well, did the CBD actually make a difference? But then you could bring on another problem because maybe your dog has an issue digesting, the CBD treat. So if just a couple of drops,
Exactly.
you haven't changed the diet. Yeah. Smart.
Exactly. We worked with veterinarians, and that's what we all kind of came up with as like a really good solution for that. And
Yeah.
we're going that route. And yeah, I
So
think people come on to that idea. People are definitely coming on to the idea of the capsules and no more gummies. I've gotten people to switch from gummies to capsules like no tomorrow. They love it.
Yeah, and it's funny with the dog treats. Final thought on that, real quick. I buy my dog a treat that I know he loves, and it works great. It motivates him and things like that. It's not CBD. This one bag, it's like not even a lot in there. Just $20 just for that bag. So if you made that investment and then your dog doesn't like it, maybe you can take it back. I don't know. So I would definitely, the drops idea is just that's the way to go. As long as you know the dosage and it's clear, based on the weight of your pet and everything like that.
And just to clear it up, it's 5 to 10 milligrams per 10 pounds. So on the low end, take whatever your dog weighs, cut that in half. That's how many milligrams you put. It's about 1 milligram per drop on my tinctures. So 15 drops would be 15 milligrams.
Got it.
Yeah.
So I gotta ask this question. Are you always growing? Is there always something, plants popping up somewhere?
This is like the first 3 months where we took a little bit of a break just with the newborn. And I'm also putting on the extension, as we saw last episode, for the Purple Nuggets. We're adding on that new dry room. So right now we're finishing up the siding. I got a little bit left to do with the circulation of the ventilation in there. I like to recirculate my air. And what I'm hoping to do is, like, during the rill, I found what I'm battling is hots and colds. So when it's like extremely cold, I need to have a lung room is what I'm creating. And pretty much I have a room where it's got air recirculating, but warming up. And then I'm going to be sucking that air in and recirculating all my other rooms. So that way I don't need to be using any type of CO2 enhancements. Some people would like to pump CO2 in their rooms because obviously the plant sucks it all out of the air. By having a lung room, I don't think there's people that are going to fight me on this, but I don't think the plant can take any more CO2 than what it's designed to do. So I don't really mess around with like pumping CO2 in my room. But what I do is always have an absolute fresh supply of air coming in with that rich CO2 coming in. So I think that's what's really kind of helping me out by having that lung room. But also during the summer months, I've been really battling the heat. And so what I had to do is pretty much take my lung room and also make it have an air conditioner in it. So I need to be able to cool that room down so that I can like pump that air in. I wish I could take you out. I have photos up online. You can see me up and running. I have videos on it. I wish I could just take this computer and take you out there right now. But you're going to see a lot of this, just kind of like little ones that are right here. But I am always growing. So, I mean, that was your question. Sorry, like elongated. I mean, even though I'm not hydroponically doing my whole setup right now, just trying to get it ready for the next season. I'm always growing. I mean, that's why we're doing so much what we're doing.
So when you grow CBD, and I love the background, because CBD helps so many of us, and to know where it comes from makes you feel even better that you're taking it. With mature plants, how long can you store the product from it? Let's say it's an oil or whatever you harvest from it in terms of, is it CBD? Are we getting, CBD from the plant?
Call it that? You can call it hemp. And then what we're extracting is the CBD resin. We're growing hemp plants. We're extracting the CBD resin. And so how long they would go, like once we put in the flower, most of my products are actually made to order. So instead of like just processing it all into orders and then processing it into like the tinctures and the salves, I try to keep it in the flower. And then once I fully cure it, that's about 3 months of curing, because that's just a really good way to get your moisture content perfect inside the flower. After that, Then I'll extract the CBD from it. And the flower itself, you probably don't want it sitting anything more than like 7 months. Honestly, I bet CBD and even THC compounds start breaking down after a certain amount of time. I've never gone longer than like 6 months or 7 months. So I mean, I can read books and tell you what they say, but from personal experience, I've never gone further than that. And I've never been outside the window of having it tested 6 months later. It's still the same quality as it was when I had it tested 6 months earlier. But when it goes into like the CBD oil itself, I think that's like almost the shelf life. It's like it's years. I mean, if it's properly stored in a cool room, I can't imagine that CBD oil would ever break down. It'd be like having like, I don't even think it would separate. I've never had it sit longer than like what I've used it for. Because it's like my CBD oil. Then I started, have my supply of like for salves and tinctures or whatnot. Then I started making it for the farmers markets and everything. But when I say kind of made to order, I try to keep it, as fresh as possible, because I know once it goes into like the salve and the tinctures, then it's like, I don't know what the shelf life is after that. I mean, there's like salves and lotions out there that have really good preservatives in it, or there's, it's got to be how it's made and what they're putting into it, because with the wrong preservatives, you might not be looking at a very long shelf life at all when it comes to those products. I've never had a product sit on my shelf longer than, let's say, 2 months, because it's so close to made to order. So I couldn't even tell you that either. I've never in the past 4 years had anybody complain about shelf life or it's not working, because it's always kind of made to order.
Right. Well, I think part of that, Jake, is because it's good stuff. It's pure. Yeah. It's the real deal. It's not somebody spraying, Delta 8 on the product. That being said, that's what makes the Purple Nugget so different than any other company anywhere, because it's small batches and it's made with care. You really put your reputation, your life, your love, everything into everything you make, where, I don't want to, bash companies, but, it's mass produced, cranked out. Who knows where it's coming from? Nobody has any idea. And you mentioned the word preservatives, like in the South. I don't think you have any in there, right?
No, I don't. I do use one natural preservative for myself. I do actually. It's a natural preservative. It's a small one. Yep. And that one and the lotion actually. But it's an all organic natural preservative called a prunip. I think it's like off of a rose petal, actually, I believe.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's in there along with the peppermint extract to give it the slight smell, but it's very minute.
Yep. I think we even switched from if you look at everything, and I'm not worried about it, but on the box it says Ludicrous Complete. We actually switched from that preservative to the prunip. We'll get that on the boxes as soon as we can. We're just kind of in the middle of not remarketing the boxes, but also being USDA organic. We need to put that on our boxes also. So we got a couple changes that we need to put on there.
Yeah, they're all good changes, and they're
for sure. Nothing to be concerned about or anything. And man, I love getting the phone calls. I love it. I really do. It makes my day. Shane called me this morning and telling me how much it helped him, his mother, and how he just ended up giving the salve away to help somebody else. I mean, I got him a free salve next Saturday, real easy.
Wow. So, well, I'm sure you'll be getting a call from me in a couple of days once I put the salve on for my knee. Because it's just a reoccurring thing, and I can go to a doctor or whatever, and it's probably just a simple thing, but so you get older and you get a little thing here, a little thing there.
Sure. You'd be surprised on what it really does help with inflammation. I mean, I know he said his mom is she's really of the age, a delicate age, and she said it didn't help her 100%. She's like, it was like 90%, all the pain was gone. She's like, with 90% of the pain gone, she's like, that's more than anything else that I've been taking or anything else that's helped me. I'm not saying it's only going to help you 90% or anything, but I just love the honesty that I get from my clients. So, keep that up. I want to know if it's really helping your knee and, what we can do to, keep it going.
Yeah. Well, guess what? It's better than taking Advil or something like that, or throwing something else into your body, where this is all completely natural. And if it works, that's why there's a reason why it's been around for centuries. And we're talking about it. The unfortunate thing is it's taken way longer, and I think you and a lot of others would agree, way longer for it to be widely accepted. And that's just because of, you know, the way things are, and the pharmaceutical companies try to fight it because it's stepping on their multi-bazillion dollar territory, and they'll do anything they can to push it to the side when it comes to CBD.
It's all about money, and they don't like losing it.
Yeah. big business. And, you know, CBD is technically not approved by the FDA, or is it? I lose track of that.
We're USDA certified. I don't think the FDA is messing around with it. I was going to actually ask you that. I don't know why, but
I don't know. I don't
think CBD is FDA approved. We haven't messed with any FDA yet. We got our background check by the FBI. That took like about a year before we got USDA certified.
Wow.
But just with that, like all the testing that we did for the year to get it, I mean, so much went into it. But if we ever can get FDA approved, I'm definitely going to go for that too, because I really want to. I believe I'm the best at what I do, and I just love helping people. And I think it's going to be help it's people like me that get in those positions because we have the care factor. You know, we're in it because we want to help other people. We're not just trying to put dollars in our pockets. And, you know, I think those are the type of people that should be the CEOs of those businesses. You know, people have the right atmosphere, the right attitude. So,
I love it.
Yeah.
You know, like we clone the plants there. I wish we could clone you, Jake, and put you at like every farmer's market in the entire country.
I got two of them, Henry and Theodore. They're 2 months. But
awesome.
Yeah, I know. I wish we could do it faster. I wish we could clone you too, Steve. I'm make a million of you.
Well, it's always great talking with you, Jake. I really appreciate it. And,
Sure.
You know, thanks for all the information. Thanks for the great product. And I know sometime soon we'll get together. The P-Nug for the Purple Nugget, thepnug.com if you want to learn more and check out some of the great products. They're fantastic. Again, Jake, thank you so much.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, you know, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, I mean, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.